Hello, everyone. Welcome to Retro Dogfight, the podcast where we look at old flight sims. Basically, I think we haven't come up with a... at the time of recording, I'm thinking like our tagline should be old guys talking old sims, something like that. But we haven't solidified anything yet. But that's what I'm thinking of going, something toward that. I'm your co-host, Brian, and joining me, as always, is your co-host, Chase.
Hello.
And your co-host, Danny.
Hi there.
So, friends, this is the second episode, and usually I want to go in chronological order, but Denny had the idea of for our second episode, let's go a little out of order and try and have a tone-setting episode where we talk about some popular sims and see what we think. And at first I was like, I want to stay in chronological, but no, I think Denny was right because we're coming in hot. Today, we're taking a look at the three Lucasfilm sims from the late 80s and early 90s. 1988's Battlehawks. My brain is melting. Battlehawks 1942. And then 1999's Their Finest Hour. And then 1991's Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe. So that's what we're talking about today. Now, we're first going to talk about... So we're testing out a format, and so the first thing we're going to talk about is our connection to each episode. And so, sim, and the first one is Battlehawks, and I want to talk about a story. I played Battlehawks at a friend's house. I hadn't played it before. Most of my sim time up to that point was Flight Simulator 2 and F-19. So I and this guy's like, you should try Battlehawks. It's a great flight sim. So I tried it. Mm-hmm. Guys, it killed propeller sims for me for 5 or 6 years. It annoyed me so much that I couldn't target anything, that I didn't know where anything was, that I didn't play a sim. I didn't play a prop sim until 1942 Pacific Air War Gold in like 94, 95. So that's why I've skipped a lot. That's why I didn't play Red Baron or the Aces series or all these other, classic prop sims, because Battlehawks killed it for me. Wow. Absolutely killed them for me. I got so yeah, that's that. I completely forgot about it until I started playing. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the sim that killed prop sims for me back in the day. I completely forgot about that. It just wrecked them for me. Just absolutely, I don't want to do this again. I only played modern sims for like half a decade after that.
Oh, wow. This is where I have to try real hard not to bring out my elitist sim a-hole persona.
Go for it. Of
course is,
do it.
Well-known and popular persona within the within our hobby. But yeah, I'm sorry you had to actually fly the plane, Brian.
No, you're not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong.
I am the exact opposite.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
The prop sims. Yeah, no, I love the prop sims because you have to maneuver. You have to know what your opponent's playing into. It's not F-15 Strike Eagle. It's fun, but it is a systems simulation sim. You stand back, you use the radar, you target your guy, and you shoot and hope it hits. And whereas here you got to get in tight dogfights and oh my God, if they were half as good as my memory was versus what I experienced replaying these last few days, but yeah, it's I totally get where you're coming from, and the fact that the graphics and general simulation was so simple in those days, really didn't help.
They did a lot. We'll talk about that, but they accomplished a lot with in 1988 with this one. Chase, did you play this back in the day?
I did. I bought it for the Amiga, so I actually ran it on my Amiga. So, and honestly, from the times back then, I don't have much to say about the sim itself, because playing sims on the Amiga could be a real nightmare sometimes because you had clicky joysticks.
Oh, okay.
And you had digital joysticks, so that was and it didn't run very good. So it's not so much that playing the sim, and kind of the same thing with their Finest Hour too. I don't have much to say about them when I actually had them, as much as I do about the manuals.
Oh yeah, part of the agenda, you guys, is we're going to talk about stuff that's collectively good or bad in all the Sims we talk about today. And one thing we will talk about are the manuals. That's the high point of this shit right here. Yeah, the manuals. Oh my god, they're like they're like history books. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a bit. But
just for context, I will add I played the first two of these on the Amiga as well. I don't think they did Swaddle for the Amiga. They just did the first two. And it actually started me on a habit that continues now with my Core i9 / NVIDIA 4090 system, which is I have to upgrade my computer so that it will play Flight Sims better. So I had a 14 megahertz accelerator for my 7 megahertz Amiga so that I could play Swaddle better. Or
wait, is that like an add-in card that made the computer run faster?
Yeah, you actually replaced your processor with a little daughter board that had a faster processor on it.
Was that an ad speed, Denny? Did you have an ad speed, or was it something else?
I had everything at some point or another, Rejuvenator, you name it, but I did have the ad speed.
Yeah, I had I had a 500, and I had the ad speed, which was a little daughter board that sat in the 68,000 slot, and then I bought their ad IDE, which stacked on top of that, so you literally could not put the 500 lid back on.
Oh my god!
So. That's how we roll, man. That's how we roll.
I didn't know. I never had an Amiga, so I didn't know any of this. My big deal was around this time I started on a Tandy, but then I got a PS2, a Model 25, the one with the built-in monitor, with the two, and I eventually swapped one of the floppies for a 20 megabyte hard drive and put every game I owned on that 20 megabyte hard drive. But yeah, I never owned an Amiga. The only time I ever played an Amiga was like in a freaking audio video editing course in high school. That's the only Amiga. We played a golf game on that. That's I never played an Amiga. But let's see. So you guys enjoy. So I guess let's. Sorry, we're working out the format, folks. I'm trying to keep it all straight in my head. Apologies. So let's informational stuff about this sim that that was just not good or bad. And I'm not going to say this is bad, but some of these missions in Battlehawks, oh my god, like I got shot down in like a minute. Or less. They're difficult. They're hard.
That's because these things are historically accurate, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Like entire squadrons didn't come back in the Battle of Midway. It was, it was tough, and they're recreating that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad thing. It's like they did a good job with this, but I'm saying this more for informational. If anyone wants to try these games, they are very challenging. Very challenging.
Yeah. There is an invulnerability mode and unlimited ammo and you can turn off damage and give yourself unlimited ammo and all that kind of stuff.
I must have missed
at
that.
least in Swaddle. I didn't dive as deep into Battlehawks because it was the earliest one. But there are some adjustments to the realism if you don't like dying a lot.
Was there anything you guys can think of that's like neutral, like just informational, not good or bad about Battlehawks?
I'll say for all of these, what's different is that they were really focused on recreating the historical air battles. It's something that's missing so much from the Sims of the 21st century. Is that these were literally flying, the balances of equipment, the balances of the Japanese having more planes, all this other stuff, like really working to recreate the experience. And if Noah Falstein has a little why we made this game in the back of one of the manuals, and he just talks about they watched newsreels that showed what it felt like to be going into these battles, and that's the experience they were trying to recreate. And so it's much more about experiencing that World War II air combat feeling versus the systems simulations where now it's all about operating the equipment.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that. I've never been a good dogfighter. I have never been a good dogfighter. I'm much more about dropping things on the ground. That's what I'm good at. And you don't really do that in battle. You do that a little bit in Battlehawks with the torpedoes, and it was torpedoing was really satisfying. I gotta admit, torpedoing was very satisfying in Battlehawks. I thought that they did a really good job with that.
It's impressive given how primitive the engine is.
Yeah,
that they get that whole thing with the Avenger. You had to fly at like 50 feet and keep your speed down while you're being shot at, and if you throw in some imagination with what you're seeing, like you feel that.
Yeah, they did. Before we move on to the good stuff, kind of what we're talking about, Chase, did you have anything like neutral / informational you wanted to say about Battlehawks before we move on?
About that, playing it, and I honestly, going back to it, I didn't play it very long. It felt like, I mean, it was, I don't know, the immersion wasn't there because everything was just so floaty and so stately. Everything really happened on a 2D plane. I mean, we'll talk about, I think we'll get to the negatives, but it reminded me so much of just playing up a souped up version of the old game Skyfox.
Skyfox?
Denny, do you remember Skyfox?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it came out in '84, and it was like the first kind of, it was kind of like the first attempt of like an afterburner kind of game on the 8-bits.
Oh.
And it did kind of the same thing. It had, it had that real slow pace and it was all scaled sprites. And honestly, that's what I felt like I was playing, is almost like just a souped up version of Skyfox. So, I didn't spend very much back in the day, and even now I didn't spend very much time with it.
Yeah. I mean, it must have been successful because it had 2 sequels, but I think it did some things right. Like when I was doing when I was doing torpedoing missions, I mean, that flak for 1988, you almost felt it. Like, and that was really impressive. It was just like, oh my God. As you're doing this deep dive, it was like really like, wow, this is 1988. They did a good job with this. My God. I like that's one of the things I felt they got right was the flak. Like, my God, so good.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're able to get some of that feeling because, I mean, these things, you're scaling these up when you play them on an emulator now, but these were running at 320 by 200 pixels.
Yeah, on a CRT monitor that was probably like a 12, 14-inch.
For everyone out there, these were likely not being run on 386s. They were being run on 286s.
Oh, yeah, or 8088s even.
And 7 megahertz Amigas. So it was pushing the envelope.
You weren't getting 30 frames a second. If you were, you probably really weren't.
No. Yeah, it was kind of amazing how smooth it is in emulation now because it was not.
Yeah, right. It's like, wait a minute.
But yeah, and again, reading the why we made this, they actually chose to use sprites instead of polygon objects because the resolution was so low that the 3D pre-3D card graphics were so simplistic in line art that they felt that they were getting photoreal with these like 14 pixel wide.
So it's like for
different angle sprites.
For folks who keep talking, what do you mean not 3D? A more familiar game would be Wing Commander. Think of for you folks, maybe the younger folks out there who haven't. Who don't understand what we're talking about with like scaled sprites and stuff. You've probably heard of the old Wing Commander games, and they did the same thing. Nothing but the ground is in 3D. Mm-hmm. The plane art itself is sprites that are they take or even for even younger gamers, think of Doom. Right.
Yeah.
That is scaled sprites that are basically you get your 8 views of a monster pre-rendered in front of you, and it's scaled up and down and moved on the screen. That's what they did with the airplanes. So just a digression for maybe so. Hopefully, if we have some younger folks, thinking what the.
And Chris Roberts actually said that he reverse engineered this flight sim engine to figure out how to do the first wing commander.
I can believe that.
I can totally believe that. I can totally believe that. And I think it works, though. I think because you play some of those games with the old 3D pyramid mountains and stuff, and you're like, yeah. So,
but then you have to. They obviously were able to use more memory for more images and more views in Swodle, but it's pretty dire in Battlehawks. I mean, you are chasing big blobs around the screen.
Oh my god!
That they've only got a few. They've only got a few viewing angles rendered, so it's like you tried deflection shooting. Yeah, good luck at that.
And no external views at all.
Right.
None of these had external views. None of them. And
nope.
That didn't help. See, for me, for situational awareness, I've gotten used for external views and padlock views, and none of these had that.
Right. So, it was strictly a number pad in the cockpit views.
Oh my god! So. Or that scan thing where you hit the button and you use your joystick.
You move your joystick.
Oh my god! I tried using that a few times. I'm like, I am so disoriented right now. How did anybody do this? How did anybody? Yeah. Oh my god!
That one's useless.
Oh my god! I mean, I love the idea of it, but it's not useful. All I needed was something that lets me target a thing so I can keep an eye on it. That's all I need. Let me target that guy so I can keep an eye on that guy. That is all I needed. And 1942 had that, and it had a padlock view and everything. That's why one of the reasons I love it. But these didn't. And it was just. It really was hard for me to keep situational awareness because of that.
That's funny because you went I started out with in terms of the Sims that I really started to get into, it was Swodle and Aces Over the Pacific, and they did not have padlock views, so I got used to always. I had my CH stick. And with all the keyboard macros, so I was able to use the hat switch to manually look around. And when I finally got into Sims with padlock, it confused the hell out of me.
Oh, wow.
Because it's like, why is my cockpit moving around like this? And it took me a long time to synchronize what I was looking at. Not using the hat switch. Having it automatically lock on and then try to move around. Yeah, so it was 180 from you.
For me, it was Falcon 3's padlock view that spoiled me. Oh my god, it spoiled me so much. That
spoiled everybody.
Oh my god.
It had that little screen at the top. That
showed you where the
just
so good.
I was just doing a little online research to see who the first sim with padlock view was, and apparently it was Falcon 3.
Oh, really? That was the first. I didn't know.
Despite the Google AI summary that first came up that claimed that DCS invented it.
Oh, DCS
invented everything.
Frickin' AI.
Yep.
So.
Fucking DCS.
God. So to this day, I still buy full-sized keyboards instead of the smaller ones because I'm so ingrained that I need that keypad to do my
keyboard.
views.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agreed. I can never I see a keyboard without a numpad. I'm like it's where is it? I need it. Where is? Yep. What are y'all doing? But I think for 1988, I mean it was successful. It had 2 sequels, and I think it did a lot right. But man, I think one thing it also did right. It had a lot of training missions. I thought that was impressive. I think it had more training missions than actual missions. Because it did not have a lot of missions. I was going to say that as a bad thing, but it did not have a ton of missions to play. Once you got out of training, it did not have a lot. And maybe that's because they expected these missions to take a while. And so, they thought that's how you'd fill up the time, by playing these long, difficult missions.
But I mean, the whole idea of a big, thick campaign. I mean, that was not in the zeitgeist. We weren't there yet. I mean, when we go back and do FA-18 on the Amiga, it had like 5 or 6 missions, and that's it.
That's it.
Yep.
For as much beloved as that game is, that's all it had.
Oh, that's it. Well, so you getting training missions and all of these different missions. That was a treat. So I guess you can definitely put that as a plus.
Yeah. I thought the training missions were impressive, but once you got out of training, like there weren't a lot of missions. I thought there were like maybe less than a dozen, if you counted them. Yeah, there weren't a lot. I mean, but I guess for 1988, that's not so bad. I guess for 1988, that's not so bad. Should we move on to their finest hour, or do we have anything else to say about Battlehawks?
The one thing that stands out about this and all, it got better, but oh my God, there was no vertical in these games. It was really bad. It is, if you are a yanker and banker, and luckily I am a big see enemy, shoot enemy guy.
That's exactly. Yeah.
In Battlehawks 1942, you can tell that how primitive the engine is you put your nose up a few degrees above the horizon, you're stalling out within a couple seconds.
Oh my God, the stalling. Every fucking 3 seconds. Stall. I forgot about that. It drove me crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, wait, I'm at full throttle. Why am I stalling? I'm going like 3 degrees above the goddamn horizon. Why am I stalling?
Yeah, it got better. I don't know if it was a technical limitation or a flight or a game decision, but it got better so that in Swodel, in some planes, you can actually do a loop from going at full speed. But every one of them is. And we'll talk about that when we get to Swodel and how Swodel was ruined for me in a day.
Oh shit! Okay.
You can't use. You're only using the vert for yo-yos. You're not doing Immelmans. You're not. You can do half a loop, but you put your nose above the horizon, and your engine's like, what? What?
Oh my God!
Yeah. I don't know if it's the engine. Driving the sim or design decision, but the vertical is very exaggerated.
Oh my God.
So that when you put your nose down just a little, you're diving.
It felt so wrong. Like I'm not the best pilot, but I'm like, I don't feel like I should be stalling this much.
Right. And you weren't. Yeah. You're not. You're not. And that was but we'll get to that. So,
right.
But that is
interesting though, because one thing I did notice about it, given how early this engine is, like the version that they have here has VGA. I don't think it even had VGA when it first shipped.
It was EGA. Yeah, it was Battlehawks is EGA.
Oh gosh.
But like super primitive. But and you're absolutely right. The vertical sucked. But the when you got into a turn fight with the Zero in a Wildcat, you actually had to fly. There was some element of showing the strengths of the planes. Because the Zero could outturn it, and you had to extend, get your speed up, come back, and do a boom and zoom, just like you did in real life. And the fact that with this primitive an engine, they could at least recreate that. I mean, you're absolutely right. There was not a lot of vertical, a lot of maneuvers. You couldn't even do a split S. But the little bit that they got in here was impressive for such a simple game.
I think what we're all saying is that even with the Sims limitations, like, it felt like they were able to do quite a lot with a little, and that's impressive.
They got the big points across. Like Denny was saying, you didn't knife fight with the Zero. The speeds, the overall speed, or the overall performance or whatever, but the way that the planes did handle and how you're constantly stalling if you were trying to do like trying to do a high yo-yo or something you didn't knife fight with the Zero. That's one of the things you learned. You couldn't flat turn with them, and so you had to teach yourself to kind of pull lag on a Zero and extend a little bit and then try to turn. And it's a primitive way of doing it, but the point got across. Yeah, and the point got across. For example, you're flying a Devastator or an Avenger. Wow, good luck. You have to get really low and really slow. So the numbers aren't there, but the point got across, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job with that. So moving on to I was shocked that this came out only a year after Battlehawks, because Their Finest Hour seems like an expansion in just about every way to Battlehawks. You have more missions. You have bigger maps. You know, you're flying across the. You know, you have a proto campaign mode that I couldn't figure out. You have a ton of missions, a lot more planes to fly.
You have land, right?
Yeah,
you have
land. You have actual land.
3D polygons on land. Yeah.
It's almost all green, but that's fine.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't play it back in the day, but playing it today, I'm like, wow, they really just upped everything from Battlehawks to Their Finest Hour, and that's impressive. I think there's more planes, like there's all these bombers and stuff, which is really awesome. And bombing was actually kind of fun in this game. But yeah, I thought, I played this one first because I was first playing them in like chronological order from like the time period. But then we're like, wait, no, we should play Battlehawks first. And as I'm playing this one, I'm like, I could totally see X-Wing in here. I could totally see.
Yes.
Here. Yeah, absolutely. Like there's like, I see where they're going now with X-Wing. We lost Denny.
We lost Denny.
Oh no.
Come back, Denny.
Denny? Oh no. Oh, there he is.
There he comes.
Everything okay, man?
Yeah, for some reason my Discord crashed. It's back.
That's weird. Well, good. So yeah, I didn't play this one back in the day at all, but what about you guys? Did you guys play this one back in the day?
I'll tell you. I bought this on my Amiga, and again, I was more in my phase of just trying to find out what games I like most on the Amiga besides Civilization. I played this very little, but the manual, it got stuck in with my war bookshelf for years. I mean, it was one of the books that I would bring and read with me. So my memories of actually playing it back then, I can't even remember a day where I sat down and really got into it. But that manual, I had that manual for years and years and years and years. It followed me everywhere.
It's a great.
We'll talk about the manuals later, but that's. So yeah, I'm pretty derelict on the first two ones. I had them. I was not in the right mind space maybe to play them back then. I was still like, I was in my early 20s. I liked airplanes, but they just didn't tickle something. But boy, those manuals, they stuck around for a long time because I was into reading about war. So there you go.
We'll talk about those.
I played the heck out of this one.
Did you?
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm just always been a huge historical aviation buff, and like Chase, I've got a huge bookshelf full of aviation books, and which these manuals all fit on. Again, we're coming back to that. But yeah, this one, I mean, there was so much more. It had the campaign. It had a mission builder.
Yeah.
You could go back and watch recordings of your flights.
Yeah. My God.
Like which was a new thing at the time. And the flight model is better. You can do a little bit of vertical here.
A little bit.
You have to if you're Stuka, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, but yeah, flying the flying the Spitfire. You can get into it with the 109 and do lots of crazy stuff. So yeah, this one just engaged the heck out of me. This is probably the first flight sim I ever got fully.
Oh, wow.
Actually, Chuck Yeager's Air Combat was the first one that totally hooked me, and that was just trying to figure out if I could shoot down a MiG-21 with a P-51. But that's a story for another podcast. But anyway, yeah. This one just had so much meat to it.
Yeah.
And like coming in a formation of Heinkels. And trying to stop them before they get to London. And we didn't know how much better things eventually would look, so our brain filled in the detail that was missing.
Yeah.
They did a great, that was one of the things I was going to say they did well, is like you're approaching these formations and you see these planes coming in. It set the tone. It set this tension so well for, oh God, there they are. Oh God, I have to deal with that. Oh God.
Yeah, I got to fly into that.
Yeah. I got to fly into that and deal with it. And it just set the stage. It set those tones so well. For 1989, I was really impressed with that. You know?
And if you're in the bomber, you could jump to a gun position.
That was crazy.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
That was just the stuff that I just took completely for granted. It's like when you're talking about that, that was when we started getting the full on smorgasbord that we get with the next game. But yeah, you're doing things like they realized that we can do only so much with the engine, right? So they kept pushing it, but where can we really expand it? So like Denny said, you got the gun cameras, you got to jump around. If you wanted to be a turret gunner, you could do that. So yeah, I mean, you got to give them props for basically taking the engine they had, not really super significantly improving the visuals or anything like that, but building around it, filling in the holes there.
They filled in so many holes, yeah.
And that's what and you whippersnappers, that's what they did back then when you pushed the tech as far as you could go. You found another way to add value and immersion to the game.
When they had a 16-bit CPU and 8 megs of RAM or whatever, it's like that's all they had. It's like, okay, we have to work within these boundaries.
8 megs. We would have killed for 8 megs.
Oh, you're right.
I think 500 shipped with 512K.
Oh God, RAM. No, I think you're right. I think the first time I went into the meg department was when Doom came out several years later.
I dropped I dropped way too much money just to get enough RAM to play Privateer.
Oh, God,
so and that was I had to get up to 4 megs.
Yeah,
and I had to buy another 2 megs.
I got a whole new 486 just for Privateer. Like,
yeah,
I had to play Privateer. But yeah, you can tell that like they like, okay, Battlehawks is a success. What can we do to expand everything? And they did. Like, my God, like it has a map view now. And it's not the most useful map view in the world. The one in Swartle is way better, but like it's kind of there and a little bit useful, And I love how they broke out the training missions by plane. I thought that was a much more organized way to do things. But so much more combat, so much more variety in the planes. One thing I love, it's a tiny little thing, but if you're flying a bomber, and I spend most of my time flying bombers, is that
ground pounder.
That's what I love doing.
Ground pounder.
I love dropping things on the ground. That's what I do. I love how you can set all the turrets to automatic if you want to, and then there's a little indicator in the cockpit telling you which turret is firing. Just a little thing like that, so you can see where the planes are coming from, and you can see which turret is shooting right now.
Yeah,
I love little things like that. That was really great.
One little thing that they added in this one that Microprose did this as well, and I thought it added so much like feeling to the missions, and it kills me that no modern sim does it. That you could name your pilots.
Yes.
You named your crew members. And when you're up there and you're flying and Scotty and Sulu get shot down, or your friend Bob and Steve, like whoever, like that, just like being able to name those people, you can build a connection to them. And it's not just dude in Spitfire number 4 shot down. No, this was my friend. I didn't protect him. Tiny little things like that added to gameplay.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed. Microprose did that with theirs, and it was so.
That reminds me of and how the UI shell of these games carried on to X-Wing. I'm not sure if pilot ranks work the same way in X-Wing, where you could take the top ace pilot in X-Wing and copy him a bunch of times in DOS, and then set him as your wingman pilots.
I think you could. I think you could.
I think you can.
And I could do that. Yeah, I think you could.
Right. So yeah, you could do that. You could take because these pilot files are just files in DOS, and if you've got a big multi-kill pilot that you've been flying, just make a bunch of copies of them in DOS and rename them and import those guys in as your wingmen.
Yeah, I don't think they did that for TIE Fighter. I don't think they did that for TIE Fighter, because with TIE Fighter, it's just like Alpha 2, Alpha 3. I don't give a shit about you because we're the Empire.
Right.
But yeah, their finest hour just did a lot more right, I felt. Like, I wasn't good at it, but at the same time, when you're flying over the channel, you see this, like, these little dots getting bigger and bigger, and like, they did such a good job, like, making you feel nervous. Like, I felt nervous every time I saw those dots coming at me. Every time. And I'm like, I'm going to have to shoot at those. Oh, God.
And then you shoot back. Yeah.
Yeah, and then exactly. They shoot back. So, I mean, there's a lot, and there's so much content here, so much more content than Battlehawks. Like, my God, like every plane had their own missions, and I couldn't figure out the campaign mode though. Like, I couldn't rock the campaign mode in this one. Which is weird because it's very similar to the one in Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe, but like I figured that one out, but for some reason I couldn't figure it out here. I don't know why.
This was V1. They built a campaign engine. And it's their V1, and they got it straightened out in Swole. Basically, Swole is the reason why I pretty much ignored other than the manuals, the first two games, because it did everything those first two games did, but in its final correct form.
Back in this era, it was the third version of anything that was good.
Right.
Windows, Light Sims,
right.
And if you're listening to this thinking, what early Sims that I didn't play should I go back and try out? Definitely just go straight to Swaddle.
Yeah.
And if you love that, go back and find the earlier ones. And don't grab them on an abandonware site. Go up to eBay and get the package from somebody.
Yeah, you want those manuals.
Money for the fold-out maps. And the beautiful physical manuals and everything else. But their finest hour did everything better, but it was still an evolutionary step toward the
should we move on? Should we move on to the coup de grace, the big one, the one we all really want to talk about, Secret Weapons? Does anyone have anything else to say about their finest hour before we move on?
Nope, just other. It was more but better, but not there yet.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the middle child of these three. Yeah. It really kind of feels like it wasn't bad. It wasn't really great, but it did a lot right. But like then you see Secret Weapons, and you're like, oh, this is where they were going. Because my God, oh my God, I did not play this one back in the day. I skipped it because Battlehawks ruined me. But I did start playing it a few years ago when my interest in old Sims was rekindled, and this Sim is like, it still has all the, for me, annoyances of the other ones, like no padlock, not great with situational awareness, that sort of thing. But it does so much else right. Like, oh my God, like you're not going to find you're not going to really find a World War II flight sim with more content than this, maybe except 1942 or European Air War. Maybe like there is just truckloads of content here.
Yeah, as I was playing this, I'm like, you know what? If they just took this shell and gave it a more modern gameplay engine, hell, you could basically keep the mechanics the same. I would be overjoyed.
Oh my God!
I literally came here today to say what he just said.
This is what I want. Right? I just want a little more pretty, a little better flight model, but basically the same key presses.
Yeah.
I didn't press W to, and then press R for rockets and B. Just that level, just prettier and a better flight engine, and I'd go home. That's it. That's all I need.
You go into the mission editor and the simplicity of building a mission. You look at the briefings, like everything. It's the right level of detail. I mean, yes, we can recreate every tiny little thing nowadays on these supercomputers, but to make it an entertaining historical game that's accessible, like they just nailed it. If you had planes with a modern graphics engine and made the flight models what we can do now, but kept all the structure the same, I feel like that game would sell. And if anyone's listening to this and wants to hire me to produce it, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I'd be happy to be a consultant.
George Lucas, we know you like aviation, sir. You've got money.
I wouldn't even need all the bells and whistles. Take the old IL-2 engine, not the Great Battles one, but the one from earlier on. That would be enough.
Oh, I am like 1946. I am not that. Like 1946. Right, yeah.
Right. I am not that big of a graphics whore. That would be fine. That level would be fine. And make it an option so that there's maybe a few more switches to keep the Switchology guys happy. But that level with that UI shell and campaign and mission building and cameras and all the neat nifty planes to fly, it's perfect. That is like Denny said, I'll be his associate producer if anybody wants to make this.
And I gotta say that one thing that really helped me rock Secret Weapons better was the map view. The map view was so useful for me in this game because it helped with situational awareness. Like it would pause the game, but you could click on the planes on the map and it would tell you where they are and how far away they are. I'm like, oh, that's what I need. That's all I need right there. And that's all I need.
Is that realistic? Oh, hell no.
I don't care.
Is it fun and useful and something you're going to do? Oh, heck yes. It's great. You know what? I don't want to be a pilot. I have had a military career that was highly complex, not piloting, but that stuff's work. That stuff's hard. Mm-hmm. That's not what I want. I want to kick the tires and light the fires and go up, into the wild blue yonder. But yeah, a map view where you can click on things and understand and get your situational awareness there. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. Oh my God. And the plane selection, like when you get all the add-ons, like if you get the CD-ROM version with all the add-ons.
Yeah, the Arrow and the ME-262 and
the P-38, the P-38.
That's all it flies, the P-38. I love the Lightning, so it's like,
oh my God, yeah, that's all. That and I tried the bombers and everything, but most of my play time was the P-47 and the P-38, and they were so fun. Yeah. Oh my God! There's so much aircraft, and friends, here's how much content this game has. You not only have training missions for each individual aircraft, and there are about 12 aircraft, fighters and bombers. You have historical missions for each individual aircraft based on actual historical missions. There's 3 to 8 for each plane, and then you have the tours of duty for each plane, which have multiple flight groups. So you could either escort bombers or do a dual role if you want to strafe stuff on the ground, which is what I always did. So, and then you have the campaign, and then you have the campaign, which is you're planning the missions. It's an insane amount of content.
As the kids would say these days, LucasArts went ham. On.
I don't what? Wait, what? Yeah. Went ham? Oh my God!
They went ham.
Oh my! I don't know that one.
Yeah, I actually took home a PC from work when Swaddle came out because they didn't do an Amiga version. And so I had a 386SX PC from work just for Swaddle and Civilization.
Oh man.
That was like I mentioned in the podcast before here, this and Aces Over the Pacific were basically what kicked me off the Amiga onto PC. Yeah, I saw these boxes, in a software, etc., and I'm like, that's it. That's it. That's what I want. So
software, etc. That's a name I've not heard in a long time. Wow. Software, etc. The more I play this, even though I'm not good at it, I'm getting better at it because the map view actually helps me tell me where I need to go next. Okay, I just shot that guy down. Who else is up here? Oh, there's one over there about 3 miles away. He's at that bearing. Okay, I'm going to go after that guy next. And you can also give orders to your friendly planes from the map view. So it's just so much more useful and accessible. Oh my God. And I felt like the flight model out of all the 3 games felt the best here. It's still not the best vertically, but
it got better, right?
Yeah, it got a lot more. It felt more fluid. It felt
was
go ahead.
And it was less floaty, right?
Yes.
Battlehawks 1942, man, that was just a very stately affair. Things were just kind of drifting along and moving, but it definitely was less floaty. But the vertical issues that we harped on earlier is still there, and that was what I said. Swaddle was ruined for me in a day. I'll drop this quick. There was. I had a friend who was really into Sims, way more than I was, and he had a full on. He had a Thrustmaster set up before I even knew what that was.
Oh,
and
damn!
Just the whole night he was playing Falcon, Falcon 3 and this, and he said he really liked Swaddle too, except that even on the hardest difficulty mode, and luckily I can't really remember what he would do to cheese the AI. But basically, you could pull like a Maverick move on every AI. If they were on your 6, you could go into the vertical and force an overshoot and shoot them down. And that was it. It was just like, oh, okay. He showed me how he cheesed the AI and why he never played it anymore. So that kind of ruined it. Luckily, I don't really care about it now these days. I just yank and bank and try to get on their 6.
Yeah.
But,
I'm glad nobody told me that. But there's also the case that if you can do that, it's the old doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that.
Right. Yeah. Well, just stop doing that. Right.
Yeah. You can still enjoy it. But,
and one thing I appreciated about this game that I wish more games would do is like, you don't have to land if you don't want to. Once you get over enemy territory, you just quit. I mean,
we established early on you don't like actually flying the plane.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to actually fly the plane. I'm
take off, landing, whatever.
I don't want to do any of that nonsense. But I appreciate that.
I don't mind it. Taking off and landing. I go back and forth. I definitely don't like to land when I am, like over the top of Dresden and I have 2 friggin' hours of, flying. Forget that. Let me get out of the zone and do a quit. Or put me at least at the runway, right? Over the runway.
Yeah,
so
Skip 2 is a great feature.
Yeah, I wish more Sims had that. Yeah, but I really did appreciate that this one's like, if you get over friendly territory, you can just quit and you're
press Q. Press Q.
Exactly. That's really nice. It was really nice because these missions can get really long. Like these missions can get really, really long.
What a simulation respecting your time.
I know. What? No. I know. That's crazy, right? Oh man. And I got to go back to the selection of aircraft. Like, I think they're great on both sides, but I did find the American selection more interesting with the bombers and especially with the P-38. But good.
You know what's crazy is the P-38 and the P-80 and the 335, and there was one other German add-on plane.
There was the Arrow, the field.
Oh, the 162 was it? The
one, the Comet.
Yeah. But the add-on planes were $20 each.
Yes.
And it was just. I mean, you pay that. It probably scales to what a DCS plane costs nowadays.
Yeah.
But
let's
these were like a different bitmap cockpit, slightly different performance, and 8 sprites.
Right.
And
for $20
and more missions, and a lot more missions.
Yeah.
One thing I love about these games, it's a tiny little thing, but I love how they put the name of the plane you're flying on the cockpit, as if you forgot.
Right.
What I mean?
Well, you're swapping cockpits, right? You were flying an Arrow a mission ago, and then a Jug. You got to remember that. Sure. They knew who was sitting behind the keyboard, right?
Yeah. Oh man, it's
one thing to point out too is like when Denny mentioned, they were $20 add-ons. This was 1991-92, folks, and these were $70 Sims.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which in today's dollars, you were paying, but they justified the price. Now we're getting back into the manuals because you had that big, thick printed manual. So these were not inexpensive little games here. They were PC games as a whole were hella expensive back in the day.
They sure were. So were the PCs themselves.
Yep.
Very expensive. But thankfully, like I was talking to someone the other day about this, like in the 90s, I think I went through 4 or 5 PCs just to keep up with the changing technology. because things moved so quickly in the 90s and everything was so expensive. But now you can have a computer that lasts a decade and you're fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I if I wanted to, I have like a 3060 Ti up in the closet somewhere. I could still be using that thing.
Yeah. I'm on a 2080 I'm on a 2080 Ti and it's fine. You know,
and I'll be running this i11 I have in this box for forever. So exactly. But God, the 90s. Let's see. It started with the 386, moved to like 3 different speeds of 486.
Yep.
Then went to a Pentium,
and then Pentium 2, and then Pentium.
Then
3.
a K6,
and then
I probably had. God, easy. At least a dozen processors during the 90s. At least.
And then you add CD-ROMs, and then you add 3D accelerators, multiple types of 3D accelerators.
We could do an episode just on which Sims forced us to upgrade.
Yeah, we could.
Right, I'm writing that down. That's a great idea. Which Sims forced us to upgrade? Because Wing Commander is in there. Oh, an EF2000. I upgraded to a Pentium just for EF2000.
And we'll talk about EF2000. I made one of my stupid young guy decisions during that thing for trying to keep up with all there. Now, I did some stupid things during that period in terms of trying to keep up with the Joneses, but we'll get to those.
That's a great idea.
There were some really expensive gadgets and cards that you really didn't want to waste money on.
Oh my God,
in the mid-90s.
I know. There was
the NV1.
Hey, I had a rendition Verite, from Sierra. All right, you don't have to tell me.
I hear you.
That was my first 3D accelerator, but it came with A10. It came with one of the A10 games. So that was amazing.
Well, I rocked one of those because unlike with 3DFX, you had to have 2 cards. With rendition, it was all in one.
I know. That's so great. So I think we can move on from Swaddle. I think does anyone else want? Have we said everything we want to say? Okay. Just
kind of to wrap it up for those who are listening. Playing that, I had actual fun, and I will probably go back and keep playing it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It is. The first 2 are historical artifacts, except for the manuals.
Yeah,
but Swaddle is. It is still worth playing.
It's a legit good game even today.
It is exactly. It is, and it is all there. It is a big toy box.
Oh my God!
Sure the graphics. You're going to spend a lot of time chasing smeary pixels around, trying to figure out is that one of my is that a Messerschmitt or is
that one of my friends or is that an enemy? I can't tell you.
One of my own guys. You're basically going to be doing aircraft identification by color. Right. The Germans are blue and white. The Americans are generally green. So chase the blue and white dots.
It's easier on an emulator on an LCD screen than it was on a CRT.
Absolutely. Oh my God. I can only imagine.
But as far as games go, if you want to do a deep dive, definitely play Swaddle. It's fun. It is still fun.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And the variety of aircraft is insane. The missions, there's so much content, and you can make your own missions. It's just, I wish there was a way to because I know I remember seeing on CompuServe and Prodigy back in the day that people were making and exchanging missions. I wish there was a way to find those.
There was actually back on the Flight Sim news groups. If you did that, that game was also extensively modded.
Oh, really?
Back
in the day? Oh my God!
Yeah, and these were not and for the youngins listening, this was not simply dumping a file in a folder. These were guys who were going in and doing binary edits to the data files,
hex editing, right?
And
that sort of thing.
You were swapping DAT files in there, and with hard coded. So they would do things like make visibility a little better in terms of maybe a cockpit glimmer, a fake cockpit glimmer effect, things like that. Try to push the horizon out. Try to push the hard coded horizon out a little more. Oh, there was people hacking on these sims big time.
Oh wow! I had no idea about that.
Yep.
I never got into the news groups. I don't know why. I don't know why I never got into the news
That's
groups.
because that's one of the reasons why you don't land, and just move mud.
I
Right?
will land if I have to, but if I don't have to, I won't. Oh, yeah.
Hey, did you guys ever see the Swaddle 2 mod for Strike Fighters?
No.
Yeah. It's the Swaddle planes in full 3D. It's the closest to what Chase is talking about here.
Wow.
It's Swaddle with a full 3D engine. It's got things like B-29s, B-36s.
Oh,
like
God.
they went all on. I'll get the link so we can share that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah, because Strike Fighters, even though it is really not a retro sim, it is. We should probably talk about Strike Fighters.
Yeah, it's on the list. Absolutely, we're talking about that one. But yeah, so I guess the collective thing is, friends, if you have any interest in World War II aircraft, dig up a copy of Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe. Get a box copy. It's really a legendary sim, and it deserves its status as a legendary sim. It's really it's hard to find a better one in terms of content, in terms of accessibility. Like, my God, it's hard to find anything better. So talking about all three games, if we're going to move on now from Secret Weapons, we talked about the manuals. My friends, even if you find the PDF manuals for these things, go find them, because they're not just manuals; they're history books. Like we've touched on that, but they have interviews with historians in these, and they have interviews with, like, didn't they talk to actual pilots in some of these? I think.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, like, my God, the work they did just for the manuals. My God.
Yeah, they've got intros from guys who flew in these actual battles, like introductions to the manuals.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, like hundreds of pages, and like
they are the gold standard of manuals, pretty much.
Agreed.
That is
everything. It's the history behind it. It's how to fly the planes, the differences in the planes, how to do the maneuvers that you couldn't actually do in the engine, but people did in real life. Yeah,
oh my God.
It was such a better world than the one where you go on now and find the YouTube video by the producer who explains how to fly the plane.
No.
And it takes 4 hours to do it.
I don't think there was. I think LucasArts actually they led that off too, because I'm trying to think of any other sims that had just fat manuals like that.
I mean, Microprose maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking like a Silent Service, and they had pretty good manuals.
F-19 had an amazing manual.
Yeah.
But
I think, but was Battlehawks before that? Battlehawks was 87.
88, and F-19 was also 88.
Okay, so you had two minds that were basically thinking alike there. They both came out with the fat manuals, but I would honestly say that in terms of historical value and being a book, you were getting a book with the
oh my God,
with the LucasArts.
These are all hundreds of pages, you guys. Hundreds of pages.
They taught me these theaters. I had a scattering, teenager's knowledge of World War II, but yeah, and with that, these were tutorial books for World War II.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah.
Like they're just delightful to read. Absolutely delightful to read. They're written very well, very accessible, very easy to grok, and just fun to read. Like, they're almost strategy guides. Like they're almost strategy guides in their own right, and yet they're just the manuals that the games came with.
I mean, how weird! Yeah, I'm dragging these manuals onto the bus with me to work when I was a young dude.
Oh, like, God, I bet.
Yeah.
I was reading them on my tablet, and I'm like, my God, these are amazing reads. My God.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are, I think, for me, the highlight of going through these was probably reading the manuals. Like, I loved playing Secret Weapons also, but reading the manuals is just a joy, like an absolute joy.
It brings back a lot of spark when you have that.
Oh my God.
If you're kind of jaded, or whatever, going back and reading one of these manuals where it's so much love. I mean, just these were not products of profit. This was a programmer who absolutely loved the subject matter, and he was surrounded by a studio that absolutely loved it too. And it just the passion when you play these, and the understanding that there is actually a human being who shares kind of that passion playing the games, as opposed to someone we can sell another half-baked flight module to. That young, that starry-eyed nostalgic passion. Yes, you really see it a lot in these sims. And I think only at the time, even Dynamics didn't have it yet. Microprose did because of their background. But yeah, this was all of these sims were really full of passion. And you can't help when you play one and read the manual. You can't help but get a little bit of that back.
Like Dynamics was getting there. Like I remember reading the manual for A10 Tank Killer, and it was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the Microprose or these, but it was good.
Dynamics. Yeah, Dynamics. They're one kind of the big three: Microprose, Dynamics, and LucasArts, and eventually LucasArts went away with X-Wing. But yeah, Dynamics followed up, and we'll be talking about their sims later. And they're the ones I actually played far more than Swole, and that's Aces of the Pacific was my jam. But yeah, I kind of beating this into the ground. But yeah, these three games were passion projects. You
absolutely
play just if you want to go back and play just something ancient, play Swole. Yeah. Read the manual and kind of try to recapture, that feeling.
If the manual doesn't get you in the mood to play this game and like get you in the mood to and make you feel like, yeah, I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to shoot down some Jerrys or Yanks or whatever.
Right.
Like the manual really sets you up for like, yeah, I'm going to fight for my country, whichever one that is. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, again, you have to bypass just the conventions of the day but going round and round on this subject, but yeah,
it's just a shame these aren't available on GOG or Steam, which just
this Swaddle desperately needs to be
desperately.
I mean, for crying out loud, GOG does have X-Wing, which again for the kids out there, those are the games that LucasArts took this design into next and are probably far better known now. Yeah, I mean, X-Wing and all the TIE Fighter and all those games are on.
So why not these?
Right, why aren't these?
Yeah, I don't get it. We've talked about collective things that I didn't like, at least like the padlock, the situational awareness. Was there anything else collectively that we can think of before saying which are the best and worst of these three games?
To me, it's just the flight model on the two and the presentation. The vertical is really constrained in the first two, much less. They had more memory to play with in Swaddle, so that means the plane renderings are not these smeary blobs of pixels. You actually get a lot more angles, right? You get like quarter angles and eighth angles instead of just kind of so you can actually do deflection shooting in Swaddle, and it kind of works. And if you're really close up to a plane, it looks like a plane and not just like some 32 by 32 sprite expanded to your whole screen. So that is the only, that's honestly the only bad thing I have to say about is just the presentation and the flight model, which goes away in Swaddle. You learn it's Swaddle's just so much fun, yanking and banking and the presentation is there enough to really suspend your disbelief, whereas the other two are still kind of chunky.
Yeah, much more primitive. So I think we can all agree that the worst. Sorry.
The code wheels, those sucked.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
forgot about code wheels. Oh my god, I forgot all of
that. Just
old time copy protection. Oh my god,
copy protection there. Basically, at times during the game. The game would grind to a halt and say,
"What?
Look up look up this thing and on the code wheel that came with the game. And
during the game, it would do that?
That wasn't during flight. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to review that, the paper copy protection they tried to make as onerous as possible back in the day, so you just couldn't photocopy it. And in the case of where I honestly dropped the second game, Their Finest Hour, they make you not only look up an airfield and spin the little code wheel you have to the right number, comparing it with the airfield, but each of the numbers had its own color.
Oh, so is that what that was?
That's what that meant.
Photocopy it. Yep.
Yeah, so you couldn't photocopy it.
Oh my god!
And that is super obnoxious. So, that is for those of all you crying about safe disk or what's the latest one? I forget that everybody. Whatever.
I don't remember.
ROM. I don't know. But yeah, back in the day, I mean, that's pretty onerous. But that's Falcon for the Amiga. Had a bright, not crimson, but a purple crimson.
What?
And on that was black lettering.
Oh, God.
That you had to read.
Oh, God.
So I guess the code wheel was okay, but yeah, that's this time around. That's what made me drop The Finest Hour. I'm like, really spinning that code wheel around. I'm like, I'm just not that invested.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the first things I did when the internet became a thing was get the code wheel patches.
Yeah,
and I didn't pirate the games. I owned the games. Yep. Oh, yep. Yeah, it wasn't. I had the actual legit copies, but I needed to use the cracks because I didn't want to deal with all that every time I wanted to play.
God. I forgot all about that kind of thing. I think I've blocked out most of that. Like,
some of them for Grogs are pretty easy. I think on what is it? It's F-117A or F-19. It had you look up the plane. It showed you a picture of a plane. I already know those, so I don't even. It's that's a vlogger.
And, that's a silent service where you have to look up the ship. Or whatever.
Right, it's like I already know those, right? So,
yeah, that wasn't so
copy protect me by showing me a plane view because it's a Fulcrum. Yeah, don't even try that. But the code wheels and the unphotocopyable pieces of paper that were just about would give you astigmatism trying to read. That was a joy. And God help you if you lost it.
Oh God, I can't even imagine.
It was interesting going back to these Sims because my memory of them, I played them through the lens of a 1980s, early 90s gamer, and these were state of the art. And so over time, thinking back to them, like my brain has kind of upgraded the experience and the graphics. And so going back and playing them now, it's like the nostalgia. We don't remember how simple the graphics were. We don't remember the code wheels. We don't remember having to learn to use EMM 386 to get enough memory.
Oh, damn. Right.
To get a game to work with your CD-ROM driver loaded.
Configure that config sys and auto exec bat, baby, to get as much.
What's really obnoxious, the way that most people are going to be getting Swodle if they go out and get it now is essentially a shovelware disc, the Swodle collection. When they sold the game to another publisher, the publisher just dumped the game on the disc, and all the expansions on the disc, but they didn't really do a good job of it. In that, when you run the setup of it, it is asking for a couple. And if you're you're obviously going to be running this in DOSBox or whatever. It is asking for a couple of DOS utilities that no longer existed in that version of DOS. So just all that EM386 stuff, So don't come crying to me about how you have to download, your drivers for your video card. No, back in the day, we had to manually config INI files to set up our hardware. God. We had to go to God knows what BBS or CompuServe or whatever to download old DOS utilities that were no longer, in the distro. of DOS 5 or DOS 6.
Make sure the IRQs for our sound cards were set up correctly.
Oh God, yeah.
Set Blaster, Set Blaster A5. Yeah. IRQ 7.
The printer. That's right. I was just about to say if the sound card's the same as the printer, you're
They both used IRQ 7.
Yeah.
That's taking up space in my memory.
Yeah. I used QEMM for the longest time.
Yeah,
the quarterback memory manager. That was with DOSBox. You've got to worry about it, which is really nice. DOSBox just gives you as much high memory and conventional memory as you want. But good God, back in the day,
you had to train
using Shadow RAM, which is the RAM under under the BIOS to just try to squeeze that crap out. So,
forgot about Shadow RAM. Oh, wow. Okay, so I think collectively we could probably agree that the worst of these three is probably Battlehawks 1942. And not because it's bad, but because it's like the clunkiest and the weakest and the old.
Right.
And
that's one you're only going to want to go back and play if you are really into the subject matter.
Yeah.
Because it is the Pacific Air War, which to me is the most interesting one because of the carrier battles and stuff.
Yeah.
But 1942 Pacific Air War exists, so there's really no reason to go back and play Battlehawks experience.
Unless you're like, I want to go to a museum of old flight sims. I'm gonna play Battlehawks 1942 just to see. It's like, okay, good luck with that.
There is that. There's like Denny said, that Pacific Air War definitely stomps pretty much, but there's like you said, it exists.
Mm-hmm.
You could almost say the same with SWOTL, with European Air War.
Yeah.
But not quite.
Not quite. No, not quite.
It doesn't have the future weapon systems.
Right. It doesn't have that. And it also, European Air War has a great UI shell and campaign mode, but it is still not full fat like SWOTL.
That's true.
And it's almost there. I am not going to say, I will never say anything bad about EAW, but those two games, other than the graphics and the flight engine, can coexist. Whereas PA 1942 pretty much stomps all previous Pacific efforts.
Agreed.
Of which there were not many. I can't think of any.
I mean, Aces Over the Pacific and
that is, and I played those. I actually, even after, we're dragging on here. I liked AOTP a little more than PA, just because PA was less forgiving.
This is fair. It's true. It is less forgiving. But I think we can also say, because we keep bringing it up, the best sim in this group is clearly Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe.
Yeah, so so as Brian would say, go play it, you Fs.
Yeah,
so
seriously, find a copy. If you have any, I mean, if you're listening to this, of course you have an interest in the subject matter. But if you haven't played Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe, it is worth tracking down a copy. It really is, because my God, it is such a beefy, so much meat on that bone. Like, you will never run out of meat on that bone. Like, my God. So yeah, I think we could start wrapping up unless you guys had anything else to add about these.
No, I've rambled on, I think, enough.
That's what we're here for. Talk about this stuff. So friends, next month we are going back in chronological order, and we're gonna go with maybe the most primitive sims that we're ever gonna play. We're talking text-based flight sims from the late 70s and early 80s. We're talking B-1 nuclear bomber. We're talking computer air combat from SSI. Remember SSI, y'all? And I think Eagles. So we're going to talk about those three sims next month, where they are pretty much entirely text-based. You're flying a plane, but it's entirely through a text parser. So we talked about that internally, like, should those count? But yeah, you're flying the plane. It's just entirely through text. So we're going to play those for next month. And I hope I can do it, man. I tried playing B1 a little bit. I'm like, oh boy.
B1 hurt. I think I'll be able to play Eagles, because Eagles at least has graphics, kind of.
A little bit of, like a smidgen of, a little bit of graphics.
Yeah.
But B1 and computer air combat, this is going to be interesting. So, folks, good.
I wish I could interview my old self about B1 because I know I spent so many hours playing it, and going back, I'm like, okay, why?
This is going to be fun. So, folks, thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you want to contact us about any questions or any suggestions, you can either leave a comment on the website, retrodogfight.com, for this episode, or you can email us at retrodogfight@gmail.com. We want to thank you so much for tuning in and listening, and we will see you next month for a bunch of text-based sims that don't even have a cockpit or anything, and we'll see how it goes. Have a great one, everyone. Oh, and don't forget to check your 6. That's what we're supposed to say now at the end of every these, right? That's what we agreed on. Don't forget to check your 6. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.